it does require some experience to be able to recognize when live tissue is beginning to show up. Dennis here at Capel Training and Shoeing. Today we're going to do a recap on trimming that founder donkey's front foot. And you know, I'm not saying a lot in this video because I'm holding that foot, and it's a considerable amount of energy going into trimming the foot itself. So there's not a lot of talking taking place, but there's a lot to see. This particular donkey, it probably been a year or more since his feet had been trimmed, and they had just grown excessively long. So I'm just aggressively going after the distortion. In the distortion, there's absolutely no feeling. So the quicker we can get that distortion out of the way, then we can kind of refine back and start looking for more details. You know, it does require some experience to be able to recognize when live tissue is beginning to show up, and you sure don't want to go that aggressive in live tissue. We want to leave enough foot on the bottom of this animal's foot that we're still comfortable when we're done, you know, because as unsightly as all that distortion is, right now it's offering protection. And the animal is going just fine. I mean, it's going as good as it can do with that excess foot out there on it. If we trim all of that off and leave him too short on the bottom, he'll be sore because we took the distortion off. So we have to be mindful of getting to live tissue. And live tissue will show up in a different texture. It'll show up in a smooth, waxy appearance. I think it has the appearance almost like bar soap. Whenever you get that smooth, waxy appearance, you know you're approaching sensitive material. You know, so you want to stop. When you see that waxiness show up, you're as deep as you need to go. And I like to ideally, especially in a situation like this, leave it a little bit longer than where the waxiness is. So you have to, you know, carve in there with a knife or your hoof knife or your nippers to find that waxy substance so that you know where to stop. But once you get there, then it's just a matter of addressing. I do talk about unloading the heels in an area. Whenever that foot, even though the hoof wall, even though it's fairly hard, it's very pliable. And the foot will go towards length, and the foot will also change based on the amount of pressure that there is from the ground to the hoof wall. So if there's an area that tends to be crushing, if there's an area that tends to be moving away from the foot, whichever the case may be, it's because there's too much pressure from the ground to the hairline there. So if there's what I put in there what I call strategically placed gaps, which allow the foot to be able to relax. In other words, take the load completely off. The foot can relax, and when it relaxes, it will return to its original shape, which is more nearly straight up and down. And when that happens, then it's got a better support structure to hold that animal up with. So, you know, I'm not necessarily looking at getting that foot completely level on the bottom. I'm looking at it from addressing the distortion point of view, to where I'm going to relieve areas that need relief. So we're just doing the best we can do to get the distortion off in this video and return this animal to as close to normal as we can get in one trim here. By leaving those gaps underneath the foot, then the foot should be able to, as it grows through this next cycle, return to even more of a nearly normal looking foot, and sometime out in the future. It takes a year to grow a brand new foot from the hairline to the ground. You know, sometime out in the future, I think an animal like this can be restored to completely normal. So that's what you're seeing in this video. I hope you enjoy it, and glad to have you with us.